To unsubscribe and comment, I will contact you via your community or discussions tab is selected. Spam in the chat will result in disqualification. All right, let's get started. So we're going to do this. We're going to take a look at user benchmark. All right, first things first, before we get started with the user benchmark for this year and running the test, is that sometimes it will fail. And one of the reasons it'll fail is because of this service right here. And we go down to, I believe, right here, you can take a look at where it shows you the information to disable it. I'll put a link down below, something like that. And also, if you have something like an on-screen display or OSD, you'll need to disable that. So let's go ahead and get started with it. We'll run it and we'll see where we're at for 2021. Actually, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just close this now. It'll open it back up when it gets the report done. This will take a minute to run through the process, and I can kind of chat while that's going on. But so what I have is also a link I'll put up for the test I did in 2011 with a 9900K overclock to 5 gigahertz with an AVX instructions of 2, pretty much putting it at 4.8 most of the time. And then I had a 2080 Super, which was overclocked. But I believe I disabled MSI Afterburner to disable the on-screen display so that it would run. So this go around, I am not disabling MSI Afterburner. I'm just disabling the display because I remember to do it beforehand. The spear test failed. I ran it, it failed, so I needed to run the test. I wanted to run the test, so I found out what the problem was and corrected it, and it does work. And like I said, that link will be up there and telling you what you need to temporarily disable or permanently disable. And it's just part of something like Sonic Studios. So I have Sonic Studios. I don't use it. I have the Realtek drivers installed. It keeps wanting to install it, so I install it, and then I disable it, except with the Realtek drivers running for everything to work for the most part. What I'm really curious about here for myself, though, is to see what the scores are for, I guess this would be considered a top gaming system for 2021, right? You got a 3080 and a 10900K. And this test takes a little bit. Another thing to mention too is that I do have the same drives as I had in before, I believe, which is 2 Samsung M.2 970 Evo Pluses, 2 terabyte. And one thing about these drives is that they do run hot. They just run hot out the box. Um, Even the Samsung software says they run hot. And then another thing with the configuration of this motherboard I have now is the Asus Maximus Formula 12, I believe. And it has been updated. I updated it to the BIOS for the new Rocket Lake CPU, which should be coming out in about 2 months, hopefully. We'll see if I can even get a hold of one. And with everything the way the board's set up, as far as I can tell, I haven't dug into it, but I can only run 4x on the main drive, 2x on the second drive. So, or before I could run 4x on the other board. And I think part of the reason is because I have the BIOS update and because this board is pre-baked already to run PCI 4.0 with a Rocket Lake CPU. So that means some things have been changed in the hardware configuration of the traces on the board to make that work. So it's not going to be like a Z590 where it's certified, but it's just non-certified, and probably with ASUS it's the same thing in the Z590 as the Z490, just not certified. So I don't care about certification. So looks like we're done where we're at. So we're hitting, it looks like it really didn't overclock the GPU anyways. So we're all back to UFO, which I had dropped down to aircraft carrier or something like that, one level. Let's take a look here. So 105, and this processor obviously, you can get an all-core clock 5.15 too. So that's probably going to put it down a little bit. I have it set up to where I run it all the time, and it's pretty much at 5 with the AVX of 2. And that just keeps standard running, video editing, gaming, everything kind of just wrapped into one. Where I think if I was just gaming on it with not any video editing or anything like that, maybe I would change that a little higher, but I'm not going to. And then you can see right here that, what do we got going here? Okay, so yeah, I've entered the model before. It doesn't keep it, I guess. But we can say we're outstanding, we're good, we're great. Yeah, and this is an EVGA for the Win 3 Ultra card. Of course, it has a 450 watt BIOS on it, so it's already juiced up to run higher clock than a lot of other 3080s. And then here we've got what I was saying on my M.2s, that they're not performing. Well, I guess this one is because it's 4x, but this is the one it's 2x now, so it's down. But for me, it's a backup drive, and with the Rocket Lake CPU coming out, I probably could get 4x on that once I have that, because it has 4 more lanes. And then the RAM, we're still decent. They're a little bit slow um, than some of the others, but they're still good. And it's 64, which I need. I do video editing. I've seen it use over 32 plus easily. And that's pretty much about it for the test. Just go through that. So like I said, I'll put up the links on it. And this is just to give you guys an idea of kind of where like a 2021 higher end PC would be at, and the numbers. And you could run this test to see kind of where you're at and what you're ranked. And there is a screen which I didn't pull up on beforehand, which will show you kind of that you're ranking overall. I guess UFO, but let's see if I get. Mm, let's take a look at this build. It's just kind of showing you where the systems would be, and card alone's $2,000 for that card. Just take a look at this. Yeah, that's not what I want to see though. I want to see is where it says that battleship and UFO and stuff like that. But I'm curious to just take a look at a couple of these things. I never really look at a lot of this stuff. Just kind of give an idea, something you guys can scan through it, give some information. Or it's not super always accurate, but I would say with the overall amount of people doing it, that the average overall would be all right. And like I said, I'll put up links on the other test and what they show, and you can take a look at that. And that's about it. All right, later.